corrupt, dishonest, enemy of the American people. Who could I be describing? These are the words that President Trump has called the media, and that relationship doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon.
As you know, I have a running war with the media. They are among the most dishonest human beings on earth.
And there are some of them right up there, the world's most dishonest people.
Disgusting reporters, horrible people. They're corrupt. They lie and fabricate stories.
The biggest rigger of the system is the media. The media is rigged. It's rigged. It's crooked as hell.
Yet, when the health care bill was being pulled yesterday, the president picked up the phone and directly called the Washington Post, New York Times. So for months in defeat, President Trump immediately began spinning the story. Sometimes he was known in his days as doing such when he was a New York real estate mogul. And he had been doing it on the campaign trail. And then, as president, he was doing something very similar, still criticism on the media. So I want to bring in now Bill Carter. He is a CNN media analyst. So Bill, now, here he is, president. He's looking at the biggest defeat of his presidency. And amazingly, he telephones Bob Costa at the Washington Post. And Bob Costa wrote an incredible story in the Post just talking about how, he just picks up the phone. It was a blocked number, wasn't sure who was on the other end, and come to find out it was the president, and he was tweeting about it as he was in the midst of this conversation. So what does this tell you about the president reaching out to the Washington Post and then later also the New York Times as sort of a lifeline when he was staring at this defeat?
Well, I wouldn't call it a lifeline, but I think he was reaching out to some organizations that he knows have respect and are trusted to deliver news in a straightforward way.
But that's interesting. You said that he respects, because he has not really been uttering respect.
No, that's right. He doesn't utter that. I think a lot of that is theatrics. Remember, right after he was elected, he went to the New York Times. He sat down in the conference room of the New York Times and told them how much he respected them. I used to work at the New York Times. I used to talk to Mr. Trump. He would call me. He wanted to be in that newspaper. He has great respect for that newspaper deep down. But of course, when he's out there throwing red meat to conservatives and they hate the media, he feeds them that. But here he was in duress, and he went to the people he thinks will deliver an honest message. He didn't go to the conservative media, because the conservative media was pretty much blowing up this plan and was really, pumping up the opponents, the Freedom Caucus. So he didn't go to them. He went to the mainstream big-name media.
So does this also indicate that he is maybe confused, or at a moment, too, where he's not really sure who to trust, or, where he might get, I guess, a favorable reporting, or what's really at the root of this?
He likes favorable reporting, obviously.
Yeah.
But he also, I think, has to respect the fact that there are news organizations that are going to deliver the facts. This was a factual situation.
Right.
It went down to defeat. He was explaining himself. And rather than get mixed up in the ideological aspect of it, he wanted to just talk about the facts of it and his intentions. He wanted to put blame on the Democrats a little bit. He wanted to do that. But basically, he wanted to explain the situation and not maybe get tied up in all the ideology of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I use the word favorable when I think of, factual reporting, but we know the president has used the word favorable in terms of like a popularity, contest. So do you see, though, however, that something is evolving in him? Historically, many historical, analysts will say, the presidency changes the person. Is this an indicator that there is change now in the orbit of President Trump?
I would never jump to that conclusion with Mr. Trump, because he's always all over the place. He's a volatile character. He's a narcissist. He depends on what things are about himself. But I do think maybe this is a situation where he realizes, dealing with only these pure ideologues cost him in this case. He was currying favor with the Freedom Caucus, and he lost some moderates because of that. And, maybe if he'd done a mainstream bill, and maybe if he brought the Democrats in, et cetera, they could have gotten success instead of failure. And he really wants success.
And do you believe, like in his tweet this morning, he kind of inferred that working together is on the horizon? Do you believe that in him, that he's willing to reach out as opposed to expecting others are going to reach out to him.
Well, remember, he also said he wants Obamacare to explode first, which actually is very irresponsible. There's a lot of people who could be hurt by that. But I think he may have stepped back from this particular experience and said, there are some people here, we can't deal with them. They're never going to, the things they wanted to get rid of the limitation on letting people with an age of 26 on and even the preconditions they wanted to get rid of. He knows that can't work. He's also, remember, promised that he's going to deliver a bill that covers everybody. So he's caught in that. So in order to make that work, he has to find a path that's in the middle. I think if he really wants to make it work, that's where he'll go.
All right, Bill Carter, good to see you. Thank you so much.